Hi all folks, this is Max from ZetoMax and BlackFridayAndroid.com. So today let's talk about, I know a lot of you always ask me what kind of phone is the best phone for this carrier, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile and Sprint. Anyway, since it's Black Friday week and you can get most of these new phones for only a penny with a contract, or you can add a line for a penny to your family account, which is a really great deal. I wish I bought all of my phones, for just a penny. But let's go through each of the carrier and let me talk about which phone is the best deals for this Black Friday. So let's start with Verizon's phones. I recommend you to get a Verizon smartphone with 4G LTE. I've got the Android Razr on my left, which is the world's thinnest phone at 7.1 millimeters thick, as you can see there. This one comes with 4G LTE. I'll also have the Android Bionic, which comes with 4G LTE also. The only really difference between the two phones is that this one has a little bit faster processor, 1.2 gigahertz dual core, and the Android Bionic 1 gigahertz dual core, but they're both pretty fast and capable of running 100% of the apps on the app market and more. The biggest difference is that the Android Razr is super thin, but because of its design, they were not able to include a back cover for a replaceable battery, which means if you run out of battery, you better be near a charger. As far as form and function, I really like the Android Razr because it's so thin and it fits in your pocket great. But if I'm going on a business trip or I'm just out somewhere where I don't have anything to charge with, I can always swap out with my extended battery for the Android Bionic. So I would recommend the Android Bionic for work and tethering off the 4G LTE, which is super fast. And if you have a grandfathered unlimited plan, make sure you upgrade your number to a 4G LTE phone. Then you can take advantage of 4G LTE and unlimited data. There's also one other phone that I don't have here, which is the latest HTC Resound. It comes with two 1.5 gigahertz processors, and it's supposed to be a little bit better than, as far as the specs go, better than the Android Razr here. But they're all great phones and they're only a penny on Amazon, so check it out. I'll have the links. And let's go up, move to Sprint. So I've got here the Sprint Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch and also the Evo 3D. Both which are probably the top of the line phones for Sprint, and they're both a penny on Amazon for this whole week. I would say it depends on what you want. The Epic 4G Touch has better camera, normal camera, whereas the Evo 3D has 3D abilities to play 3D movies, take 3D videos. As far as the processor is concerned, this one has 1.2 gigahertz dual core, whereas the Sprint Epic 4G Touch comes also with 1.2 gigahertz dual core. But based on benchmarking, the Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch is much faster. And I would have to side with the Samsung Epic 4G Touch a little bit more because I really like it in my hands. Other than that, there's some signal issues with the code on the Samsung Galaxy S2 Touch that Samsung will hopefully update soon. But it does have a better antenna. I get better signals with the Epic 4G Touch. Other than that, as you can see, the Evo 3D, some of you might like the Evo 3D design if you want to really get like a brick feeling versus paper thin candy feeling. So it's just a matter of personal preference. But both are really great phones. And the Epic 4G Touch has a slightly bigger screen, 4.5 I believe versus the 4.3. As far as hackability, the Evo 3D has a ton of ROMs. Also the Epic 4G Touch has a ton of ROMs. This one probably, the Evo 3D probably has more ROMs and more things you can do with it. I would say the developer world for the Evo 3D is much bigger. So it all really comes down to what kind of features you want, and if you like it thin and big, get the Epic 4G. If you want a more of features like 3D imaging and whatnot, try the Evo 3D. And those are the two phones I recommend, and those are the best deals this week at Amazon for a penny. And next, let's go to AT&T. For AT&T, I without a doubt have only one phone I can recommend you, which is the Galaxy S2 for AT&T. There's also Galaxy S2 Skyrocket 4G. I don't really recommend it that much. I really like this phone over all the other Galaxy S2s on other carriers because this is like the original. This is the most similar to the original Galaxy S2. It's 4.3 inches instead of the 4.5 inches, which comes on other series of Galaxy S2 series over at T-Mobile and Sprint, and also the Skyrocket is a little bit bigger. But I really like the feeling of the 4.3 inches with the resolution, and this is only a penny. Also, you can get the Skyrocket, which is just basically a slightly bigger version with a 1.5 gigahertz processor, but this processor is supposed to be faster. This one comes with Samsung Exynos 1.2 gigahertz, which is a really great processor for the smartphone world right now. I think it's still leading, and even after Galaxy Nexus comes out, it's still going to be top of everyone else as far as CPU processing power goes. This phone is great. You can take 1080p videos, great photos, great battery life, I would say, over the 4.5 versions because the screen is smaller. So this is my recommendation for AT&T. There's also Atrix 4G, Atrix 2, which I don't really recommend. The specs are kind of, I don't know why they even released that phone. But this is only a penny. Check it out for AT&T. And next, let's go to T-Mobile. Also for the T-Mobile, I really like the T-Mobile Galaxy S2. This one actually gets really great battery life. I have no idea why, but I believe that's due to the HSPA Plus antenna instead of 4G LTE or Sprint's WiMAX. This one comes with 4.5 inches, just like the Sprint one. Slightly different bezel, but it's pretty much the same phone. Better battery life because it's on HSPA fake 4G instead of real 4G. The only thing I don't really like about T-Mobile in general is that I drop back to Edge, which never happens to me on Sprint or Verizon. It only happens to me on T-Mobile or AT&T. It drops, straight. No, actually now it just happens to T-Mobile. Anyway, that was the recommendations for this Black Friday week. This one is actually still $1.99, but I'll try to have it. It should go down to near nothing, like a penny, when Black Friday nears. I'll have more information and news and deals at blackfridayandroid.com. So don't forget to sign up for our email list because we're gonna be blasting everybody with the last minute doorbusters and deals. You will not want to miss out. So check it out. I have links to all of these phones for $1 or a penny on Amazon, and I hope you find great Android smartphone for this holiday. Anyway, thanks y'all. Subscribe and see y'all later.